Hey guys, Christian over at Untitled Car Stereo. Today we're in a 2011 Audi A3 with the concert radio. Pretty much the same exact everything from 2008 to I think 13 or 14 was the last year. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to install a radio. So let me show you how to take out the radio first. First thing you're going to do is grab something to cover the shift knob, because shift knob in the sides in this car. Because when you take it out, you know, as soon as it gets heavy, you're going to drop it on the shift knob. So these are the Enfig RRK4 radio removal keys. These are the best grabbing keys we've ever sold, which is why we put our name on them. The other brand work, but these grab better. Alright, so what we're going to do is each corner gets a key. So you're going to make sure that the notch faces towards the center, okay? You're going to hear it click, and it goes in. Some of these keys, when you have a problem with the radio, you always bend it towards the middle. Like that one, you heard it click real nice. Alright, before you do all this, click. Of course, when I built anticipation doesn't click. There we go. That one was rough, but it still clicked. Alright, make sure you don't have any CDs in here. Because last thing you want to do is if you leave a CD in there, or if you have the Symphony, I think it's called Symphony with the 6 CD, and you leave a CD in there, what'll happen, it'll get jammed up and you'll break, which if you're replacing it doesn't matter, but you still don't want to do it. So now what you do is you apply a little bit of outward pressure and then pull. Same thing on the other side. See how it went out? Now this side didn't like it, so what we're going to do is we're going to push it back in. I guarantee you it's this one. And then there you go. Alright, so what happens sometimes, like I pulled out, so when I pull out like this, what I'm doing is I'm wedging the lock mechanism up against the thing. So if you're having a problem with this side, make sure you push back in the other side, or both sides actually, to give it some release, okay? So now we do that, we're going to push in the sides to release the keys. Let me just tilt the side. Can you see that? There we go. Alright, so the way these keys work is that when you push them in, see, watch. When you push them in, they lock that locking mechanism in, and when you put outward pressure, even more. So what you do is you push this in to pull it out, push this in to pull it out. Now, we got this out. Can we show it to you? Alright, so here we have the AM/FM antenna adapter. So all you're going to do is push this up. There's a locking tab on the bottom, okay? And you're going to push this up and wiggle. It's a little harder when you try to do it for the video. Alright. Now, over here we have the main connector. It's a very easy connector to remove. So what you do is that you squeeze right here. See? There's a little squeezer. And then you lift up the lever. And as you lift up the lever, it will automatically come out. Alright, so that's it. Put this radio off to the side, and let's go get the rest of the parts. Alright guys, so now what we got to do is that this is the harness that connects to the radio, and this is the antenna that connects to the radio. Obviously these are different from what you see in your car. In your new radio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the antenna adapter. This is an Enfig AAA VW AUD5. Okay. All our stuff comes in little packages because anyone who has fancy packaging has to pay for it. And since we usually go direct to consumer, there's no need for us to charge you for fancy packaging. Alright, so these two just go right into here. Alright. Now sometimes, I don't know if that was the case, sometimes this little red thing tends to stick out a little further. So you have to help it push down. Alright. So what this does is, these are both AM and FM antennas. Your Sirius antenna and your GPS antennas in the trunk. If your radio had a GPS radio, if your car had a GPS radio, then the GPS antenna will be back here. We're also going to do videos on the other two, so keep an eye out for those. Now this goes into the radio, and I'll explain what to do with this wire in a little bit. Oh, not a little bit, do it right now. Alright, so this goes to the radio. What this radio does is that this radio goes, this wire goes to the antenna turn on. So what an antenna turn on does, it only turns it on when AM and FM are on. Some radios don't have that. Some radios only have an amplifier turn on, which means it comes on when the radio comes on. This Alpine radio we're installing does have an antenna turn on. If you buy our harnesses, it slides right in. You don't have to cut it in. So we'll be right back and we'll show you that. Alright guys, so the next part we're going to show you is the radio wiring harness. It's a smart radio wiring harness, so that's why it's a SRWH. So what this does, this plugs into your factory connector, so it has a female version of it. Okay, boom. And the other end of the connector is made to go into a Blaupunkt radio. Blaupunkt's a strong German, well, they were, now they're made in China, but you know, when these harnesses were designed, they were a pretty good radio. So these side is your speaker, black is your ground, red tells the radio to turn on and off with the key, orange tells your radio to dim when you turn on the headlights, and yellow is constant. If you look at the factory harness, it only has yellow and black, and then of course all your speaker. This blue is your amplifier turn on, because all Audis, all A3s have an amplifier. The Bose ones, all the speakers are amplified. The non-Bose, only the rear and the sub are amplified. And yeah, you all have a sub. And this blue and white twisted wire, those are the CAN bus data wires, CAN high, CAN low. So if you look over here, this box takes in the power and the ground and the data wires. This brown wire you can ignore. This is a mute wire that's used for non-Audi applications, but it shares the same harness. Alright, so we already went over the orange that, you know, dims the radio when you turn on your headlights. The red tells it to turn on and off with the key. The purple and white is your reverse wire. So it's not meant to power a camera, but it's meant to tell the radio you're in reverse, so you can switch to the backup camera view. Pink is vehicle speed sense. It tells you how fast you're going. According to what I've been told from one customer, this ILX 107 we're about to install does have a vehicle speed sense. I find that very surprising, but we'll find out in a little bit. And this green buddy right here should not be green. It should be a minty green, but you know, I'm not going to send them back because the color's a little off. So what this does is the parking brake. So this senses when your parking brake gets up, and it sends 12 volts down the wire. Because all these radios have a security feature that you can't do certain things while you're driving. Most of you guys are going to bypass it. I know that. Don't ask me about bypassing cars, radios, security features, because they're illegal. But I'm just going to let you know there's ways to do it. Okay? So, the important part. This is the Enfig Hilo box, which should have a sticker on it. I don't know, I didn't have a sticker on it. I'm going to yell at somebody. So, what happens is the output of aftermarket radios is lower than the factory radio. It's just a mismatch of the amp to the radio. So what this box does, this box allows the rear speakers to match. So if you put it in without this box and you don't have Bose, the rear speakers will be half the volume of the front speakers. Just search Audi rear audio, Audi low rear audio on Google, and you'll find everyone talking about the problem and how this solves it. So if you don't have Bose, the recommendation is the fronts aren't going to do anything because you're not amplified, only your rears. So you're going to adjust the rears so they sound as loud as the fronts, or you're going to, you know, or whatever your liking is. Maybe you want the subwoofer louder, you want it louder. But so this fixes a rear audio issue on non-Bose. On Bose systems, it's not as obvious because on Bose systems the whole thing is flat. So since the whole thing is flat, you don't realize that it's bad. So you're not getting the improvement that you're supposed to get with a new radio, but you don't know because it doesn't sound any different. So anyway, so that's what this audio box does. Okay, it also has filters for engine whine and turn on and off pop. But in this car, that's not usually an issue. We're right next to an airport, can you tell? So I'm gonna put that in there. This is the amplifier on wire. So this wire you hook up to your amplifier on the new radio, and what this does is sends 12 volts to the amplifier in the trunk to turn it on. All right, so now you're gonna chop all this up, right, and put it to your radio since you don't have a Blaupunkt. Wrong. So what we did is that we made converters. This is a PMP Alp 007. The 007 is the same as the 107. Actually, you know what? 2 customers have verified that. Let me go verify that myself before I start talking on video. Alright guys, so yeah, I went inside and verified it. It's the same thing. So PMP Alp 007 fits the ILX 107, even though it was designed for the 107. Before we continue, the antenna. So I said I don't know if I told you, this antenna amplifier, what this blue wire does, it turns on the boosters in the rear window. So if you look at our SRWH, which is the main harness that has the high-low box, right next to that red wire, there's an empty slot. All right. So what you're going to do is, if you look at this, it has a little pin that sticks out the side. You're going to put that in with the little pin facing towards the red wire, and you're going to hear it click. I'm a bit disappointed if it didn't click, right? So now what this does is that when you connect it to the other side, it makes a connection to turn on the antenna. All right, so this is a PMP Pile, PMP Alp 007, because it was made for the 007. This one's actually, we make these in-house because we used to only sell 2 or 3 a week. The 007 came out this week. We've sold 10 this week. So it's our, now that we verified it's the same thing, we're getting made. So don't laugh, this is the homemade one. All right, so when you plug this in here, this converts it, and this plugs directly into the Alpine radio, okay? Now, the only thing that's weird about the Alpine radios, they don't have illumination. So when you turn on the headlights, it doesn't dim, okay? Now, on the Alpine radio, this amp on is actually a blue and white. We have it with an orange wire, because like I said, these are the homemade ones. So this amp on will connect to this amp on and turn on the amplifier when you turn on the radio. All right. This is orange and white. That's reverse. That goes actually to the purple and white. So orange and white for reverse goes to purple and white. Most people follow this color combo. Alpine's a little different with this one. Now the handbrake, Alpine uses yellow and blue, and the industry standard is a minty blue. Minty green. So this green is not supposed to be this green. It's supposed to be a light mint green, but it works. All right, so plug those two in. All right, and like I said, this is just a connector we have in house. So eventually they'll all look like this, and this will be a right color. And this is vehicle speed sense. According to somebody, the radio has vehicle speed sense, but I haven't seen it yet. After we do this, we're gonna go get the radio and we'll go from there. So this box that I told you about, the CAN bus box, so that sends all these wires out, this is also the steering control box. A lot of people think this is only the steering control box. So I get people calling me saying, "Hey Christian, my radio won't turn on. I don't know why your harness doesn't work. Something's wrong with the harness. I need to exchange it." They don't have this plugged in. They think this only does steering controls, but no, it does both. So when you plug this in, this side is for the steering controls. So what we have here is an SWCL Alp. Okay. So what this does is that if you look at these black wires, these are jumpers. These jumpers loop around, and what they do is that they tell you, they tell this unit that we're installing an Alpine radio. But it only reads these loops the first time you plug it in. So to program this, you actually have to unplug this end, wait 5 seconds, and now when this little box gets power through here, it knows, because this is plugged in, that it's an Alpine. So that's basically how you program it. All right. All right. One more thing I'm going to touch on briefly, but I'm not going to do on video. This is a KFA. An NFIG KFA is keep factory aux. This is probably going to be NFIG KFA AUD3. But then we also have an RC and a headphone jack, so I'm not sure what so anyway. So what you're going to do with this is you're going to put these in here to keep the factory aux, which is actually on this connector. Here's my problem. We went back and forth as whether or not we should sell this, because what's going to happen is that someone's going to insert it wrong and then tell us that we did something wrong. And now we have a whole harness that is not useful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a whole separate video on how to install these, because I just want to make it crystal clear with everybody that there's no way there's a mistake. All right. But yeah, so look out for that video. But if you have any questions, or anyway, that's a separate video. Let me go look at the radio. We'll be right back. Okay, so I verified it, and there is a vehicle speed sense, but it's on a separate harness. I'll get to that in a second. All right, so first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna grab a T25 Torx to remove these 2 screws. The reason you have to remove the screws is because they will not fit onto the new kit. Alright, so this is the back plate. Okay, so what you're going to do is mount this right here. So you don't get caught with anything. Now, this is plastic, so when you go in there with a screw gun, make sure you don't crack it. About twice a year I get a call from someone that's telling me, your kit is garbage. I was just screwing it in with my hand and it just cracked. I'm like, yeah, you overdid it, buddy. So, these little screws just, they're Allen keys. Alright, now you see how we just went in a little bit? You don't want it bowing at all. So, you're gonna, right when it stops bowing, then you're gonna go like a quarter turn. Because if you bow it, it's not gonna go in right. So bow it a little bit, and then when you come back, just when you feel the resistance, go like a quarter turn and you're good. And then just grab it here and make sure that it's not bouncing on the screw. Hey, is that gonna need a tighter screw? Let me make sure I'm not doing something stupid here. Yeah, no, it just wiggles around a lot more on this side. I mean, because I have a view. Yeah. Look at this thing. Doesn't matter. The cover plate covers everything, so you're fine. Next thing you're going to do is get the metal cage. So this is actually what holds the radio in. So you're going to scrape this over here. Alright, now when you look in this metal cage, there's a bunch of little triangles. Okay, all around the outside too. So what you do is that when you slide this in here. Oh, I forgot about the A3. Alright, so the A3 has tight sides. So you literally have to get it in perfectly straight. Okay? So you have to go down a little bit. Okay? And also be very careful you don't get wires caught. Because when something's that tight, if you get wires cut, it's just going to slice through them. Alright? And now when you bend tabs, another thing I got to tell you is make sure that this metal all around is on the plastic and not past it, because that's going to cause a problem. So next thing you do is a flathead screwdriver. Just bend the tabs. That one's not. I think this is one of those cars. There you go. Just bend as many tabs. Some of these tabs aren't going to bend, like the one down here. It's hitting something, so that's not bending. To be honest with you, yeah, the bottom is not going to bend at all. You could probably just slide the radio in without bending any tabs, but that's just stupid. You know, last thing you want is hitting a speed bump or something, getting into an accident, flying out at you, but it's pretty tight in there as it is. But you know, bend as many as you can. Don't push it too much, because what happens is if you go to bend, so let's say if you bend this, you might pop out the back of it. So when you're done, just give it a nice grip. If you see how it's not going anywhere, this one is a little loose. It's not bad, but if you can try to bend up another tab, that's fine. I mean, I think what's wobbling is the plastic. Someone at home is like, it's that screw, it's too loose. I promise you it's not the screw. Alright, so there's that. Alright guys, so we got a couple harnesses to go in the back of the radio. This green with a white is speed, so that goes into the pink. So on the our harnesses, the pink is vehicle speed sense. What this does is that if you go into a tunnel, I'm not sure how it works on this radio, but on a regular GPS radio, when you go into a tunnel, you don't have GPS, so it reads your speed, so that way when you pop at the other end of the tunnel, it doesn't have to recalculate all of a sudden. It's pretty, you know, it keeps it pretty accurate. That's why if you're ever in someone's car and they go in a tunnel and it disappears, whoever installed it didn't hook up this wire. Most shops don't. Alright, so over here we have the aux input. We're going to hook that up to the KFA, but we're not doing that during the video. This is iDataLink. iDataLink does not exist for Audis. And this is a camera. We're actually going to do a backup camera in this car, and also keep the Sirius and the GPS antennas. Well, I don't know if he's using Sirius. I don't think this radio can do Sirius, but we'll show you how to do that too for this car. What else we got? Oh, over here, the steering remote. That's what gets plugged into here. Fun fact, you Google 2017 airplane crash at Teterboro, well, it was a couple months ago, and it's July now. It actually hit the building next door. How crazy is that? All right, so that's a steering wheel remote. I recommend you tape these two together so it just doesn't pop out. This is the microphone. We're doing a separate microphone run video, so we're not going to do anything with this right now. All right, so those two. Okay, so here's the ILX 107. I think the customer's actually watching me do this, but I think he just told me that I said 007 before. All right, so this is a weird mounting radio. So obviously it's a half DIN, but a single DIN face, which is kind of nice because you can put stuff up here. So this is how I mounted the cage, the side brackets. All right, so for this radio, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8. And I use these two screws up here. I'm gonna take a good look. Probably screenshot your phone right now. It's a pretty good idea. Okay. It works. The only problem is when you go put it in the cage, you got to make sure this stays flat, or you see these little bumps right here, they get stuck in this little rectangular opening and it makes it hard. So when you push it in, make sure you're all the way in. Okay, so now we're gonna go back here. We're gonna put in the vehicle speed sense wire. Okay, then we're gonna put in the aux input and steering wheel remote wire. Goes there. Oh, so some of you are going to ask, and are probably already thinking, what about the RCAs? So the RCAs coming out of your radio are the problem. The signal's too low. So what the high-low box does is the high-low box grabs the speaker level and brings it down to an RCA level that's actually higher than the RCA output of here. Well, it's a low level. I don't call it RCA, but so pretty much the high-low gives the factory amplifier what it wants. Okay. So then this over here plugs into here. Oops, a little tight. Let me just, don't want to break the screen. All right, it's a little snug, but it went right in. Oh, and of course, we started the video with the AM/FM antenna adapter. Okay, and this goes in here. Make sure you push this all the way in, because you see it's a little tight. So if you just do that, you're not going to get any reception. So just make sure I don't scratch up the car either. What you can do is you can squeeze these with a plier. It's better too tight than too loose, right? That bent. Well, this ILX is tighter. Let me get some pliers and I'll show you how I'm squeezing. All right, guys. So we're still here. I didn't, just to show you. I didn't lie or fake the funk. So all you gotta do is squeeze it a little bit. Don't squeeze it too much because then it'll slip right out. And at that point, all you gotta do is tape them together. Okay, see? At this point, you're still good, but you're probably gonna squeeze too much. And so I always recommend to tape this together. All right, so GPS antenna also, we're not gonna hook that up because we're running into the trunk. Because every A3 has a GPS antenna, if I remember correctly, behind the subwoofer in the trunk. But look out for the video because the video will tell you that. Alright, so now, if you're really OCD, you can actually tie this stuff down. I've been doing this for years. I've never had a single customer tell me, hey, I can hear it rattling around. And I have some of the pickiest customers in the world because they understand my OCD is just as bad as theirs. So they come to me because I don't think you're crazy. Make sure nothing fell out. Okay, so like I said, I think, what was it, 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 8, and these two. Okay, so now what you're gonna do. Oh, one more thing I forget. This thing has Bluetooth, so you have to pull the fuse on the Bluetooth. Let me finish the video install. Let me finish this, and then I'll come back and I'll show you. Okay, that goes there. And okay. Alright. That's beautiful. Alright guys, so here's a fuse box to the left side of the steering wheel. Honestly, this is one of those times where I wish I could sell you a panel tool, but there's enough in here to put your thumb. and pop it out, pop it out. When you look over here, there's 1, 2, and then 3, okay? There's a little white thing, which if a car is used, might not be there because people lose it all the time. But when you look over here, just verify. There's one down here that says mobile phone. That's because the car was actually wired to have a corded phone, but they never used it. But over here, number 9, nope, that's radio. Number 10 is mobile phone / TV. That's the one you're looking for. And then if you look over here on the plastic, this is actually the fuse box. So if you look at 10, this is the way it sits. 10 is over here, so we got 11 and then 10. So this would be 11, this is 10. So this one right here, which is 7.5 amp. Let me zoom in for you so you can see that. All right, and put a little more light maybe. Now you can see. Let's make it a little brighter for you. All right, so the 7.5, you could just go in here. Whoa, other side. And just use that and pull it right out. Now what this does is takes the power away from the Bluetooth module in the car, so you don't see it popping up and saying random names as you're trying to operate your now you know what, even when you disconnect, I think it just says insert phone, which is just annoying, but that's how you do that. Alright guys, now we're back. So radio, there it goes. It's a little long to boot. Surprised. It wasn't the key right now. Alright, so you got track up, track down. Hey guys, this is Christian from the future. So the video you've been watching was filmed in July 2017. Right now it's September 2018. So last night I was editing the video, putting it up on YouTube, and put it up on YouTube, send the customer an email, said, you know, I just remembered I did his car and he's a local customer. I was like, hey, you want to come by for a free voice dial update? And he showed up and here we are. So I was like, you know what, I deleted the video and we're going to chop this in the middle. So this button did not work for voice dial when we filmed the video. Now if you hold it down, what time is it?
It's 4 p.m.
There you go. Now if you get a phone call, all right, now you're going to tap it once to pick up. Now, when you're in a phone call, if you want to put it on hold, you just tap that. Now, that's a feature of Apple. That's the way they handle a second pickup. All right. Now, if you want to hang up, just tap it twice. All right. Now, let's say you're jamming along, and the boss at Unfit Car Stereo calls. You don't want to talk to him, and you listen to your music. All right. Call's coming in. Tap it twice. And it rejects the phone call. All right. Now, the steering wheel controls, when you're on AM/FM, when you go up and down, it actually goes through each individual station. On the Alpine radio, I think it scans and it picks up all the stations available. I forgot how it does it. When you tap it, it actually goes through your presets. All right. Now, volume is as you would expect: volume up, volume down, and then when you tap it, it's actually mute. Okay. Now, if you switch over to CarPlay, the track up and down works just like you'd expect it to. Track up, track down, and then when you hold it down, just like you would, you get, hello.
Hello, Ian.
I'm not Ian, liar. Customer's phone. So if you guys have this phone, I have iOS 11.4, I believe, and I just, in my car, voice dial, when I held down the voice dial button, it wouldn't complete. So we tried the customer's phone, and when you hold on the voice dial, it works fine. So it's an iOS issue. In case you have this car and you're realizing, hey, I'm having an issue, I just want to point that out. So, all right, guys, so that's it. That's the 2018 insert. Let's go back to the rest of the video. GPS antenna from the trunk, because they all come with GPS. Sirius antenna from the trunk. Backup camera, we're going to try to do. Backup camera installs are usually pretty tricky to film because they're a little too complicated, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, video is brought to you by EnfitCarStereo.com. We sell, we install, we also ship worldwide. If you're a shop, we do wholesale accounts. I mean, look at this kit. Your customers will love it. You could be that shop that, you know, local car meets is going to say, oh, where'd you get that? Anyway, my name's Christian. If you have any questions, nfigcarstereo.com. Thanks for watching.